What is going on, guys? The 2020 NFL Draft features 3 big-named must-have quarterbacks, a plethora of stud wideouts, and plenty of future defensive stars. Some of the top prospects of the 2020 class happen to carry high bust potential, while some of the more polished and intriguing prospects are receiving very little attention. Here is a look at 5 2020 NFL Draft prospects who could go down as busts, and 5 who could be major steals. Number 5 bust, Tua Tagovailoa. Now, he's only on our bust entry because of one thing: health. The Alabama Crimson Tide product suffered a gruesome season-ending hip injury ahead of the 2020 draft, however. Tagovailoa said that his fractured and dislocated hip has recovered, essentially ensuring that he's a top 7 pick. But his hip injury was no joke, and it may just take one hit to re-aggravate it. If he didn't have that injury, Tua would probably be ahead of Burrow on most mock drafts and big boards. Just look at how injuries quickly derailed super talented quarterbacks like Ryan Leaf, Andrew Luck, and Robert Griffin III. I'm still so upset for RG3, dude. He had so much potential. Ryan Leaf, well, not as much. If healthy, Tua will unquestionably be a top-tier franchise-changing quarterback. But if that hip injury holds him back, then he'll sadly go down as an all-time draft bust. Tua, his fans, and the team that takes him can only hold their breath and hope that he can stay healthy. But in terms of his overall talent and skill set, there really isn't anything to worry about. If his body doesn't betray him, Tua will more than live up to those sky-high expectations. Keyword: if. Number 5 steal, Trey Adams. Quarterbacks and receivers have gotten most of the love ahead of the 2020 draft, but there are plenty of grade A offensive lineman prospects that shouldn't be overlooked. One guy that is seemingly getting overlooked, however, is Washington State offensive tackle Trey Adams. The 6'8", 318-pound Adams isn't getting as much attention due to his health concerns. He suffered a torn ACL during the 2017 season and a back injury in 2018. Injuries will always set off red flags for scouts, but if you look at his production on the field, Adams looks like one of the most polished offensive linemen available. A lot of scouts and analysts don't see Adams going in the first 2 rounds, and he consistently ranks outside the top 100 on big boards. But he's one of the better offensive linemen in this class when it comes to the run blocking aspect of his game. His size is a huge advantage as well. Adams still has the overall talents to seriously upgrade any offensive line. Whoever gets Adams should be more than happy, especially if he's taken after the 2nd round. If he's healthy, Adams will reward his new team for taking a chance on him. Number 4 bust, Chaisson. The 6'3", 254-pound LSU linebacker edge rusher is consistently ranked as one of the top 30 to 40 prospects in the 2020 class. He'll very likely be taken by the early 2nd round, although a linebacker-needy team could make him a top 20 pick. He's not going to go before Isaiah Simmons, but he will likely be one of the first 3 linebackers taken. There's no denying his overall talents. He's really a tremendous leader who displays greater speed and higher football IQ compared to most other linebackers. But we still say buyer beware for one reason: his health. He missed most of the 2018 season after suffering a torn ACL, and he was briefly sidelined in 2019 with an ankle injury. Those are injuries you can't ignore, especially at such a physically demanding position. Like Tua, we don't doubt his abilities to be a star. The concern is if his body will break down and betray him quickly. So consider him a boom or bust prospect. Number 4 steal, Eason. Barring any massive surprises, Joe Burrow, Tua, and Justin Herbert will be the top quarterbacks taken. But don't sleep on Washington signal caller Eason, who performed beautifully in his final year of college. He only increased his draft stock after throwing for 3,123 passing yards and 23 touchdowns against only 8 interceptions. He displayed so much maturity after transferring from Georgia, and he was confident enough in his own game that he chose to declare for the draft. Can you blame the guy? He's near NFL ready, so he will likely be a 2nd round selection. He'd be a prime target for a team looking to develop its quarterback of the future. The New Orleans Saints, Indianapolis Colts, Pittsburgh Steelers, and Green Bay Packers especially come to mind. He doesn't have the same overall skill set as the big 3 quarterback prospects, but his maturity, pocket poise, and world-class arm strength makes him a must-have for teams without a top 10 pick who are looking for a future signal caller. Don't be surprised if he one day outperforms his draft spot. He has most of the tools needed to be a future Pro Bowl QB. Number 3 bust, Justin Herbert. Look at any mock draft, and you'll usually see Herbert going to either the Miami Dolphins at number 5 or the Los Angeles Chargers at number 6. They're among the few teams that really need to draft a franchise quarterback in 2020 after all. This isn't the absolute greatest draft class in terms of depth, but the top 3 of Burrow, Tua, and Herbert are seemingly can't-miss products. Or are they? Herbert has the ideal size and plenty other characteristics you want in a quarterback. but his inaccuracy, problems at reading defenses, and struggles with consistency are worrisome. And Herbert doesn't exactly have that one wow trait that sets him apart from other quarterback prospects. He simply has to be in the proper system to succeed, and if he goes to a team that fails to build around him, Herbert might be the next great quarterback draft bust. Burrow is essentially the complete package, and Tua, if healthy, will dazzle with his remarkable football IQ and arm strength. Yada yada yada, we've said it 1,000 times. But Herbert, on the other hand, appears to have a number of flaws he'll have to correct if he wants to be a true franchise quarterback. Herbert should be a very good NFL QB, but the flaws can't be ignored. All it takes is the wrong system or team to poorly develop Herbert, and there's a good chance he'll turn out to be a bust. Number 3 steal, Bryce Hall. Everybody knows that Jeffrey Okudah will be the first cornerback taken. He's going to be gone inside the top 10 easily. The 2020 draft is extremely rich with quality corners. The tier after Jeffrey includes CJ Anderson, Christian Fulton, Trayvon Diggs, and Paulson Adebo. But please, do not sleep on Virginia corner Bryce Hall. This guy could truly be the real deal. At 6'1" and 202 pounds, Hall has good size that teams are often looking for when they build up their secondaries. The 2018 first-team All-ACC selection and second-team All-American suffered a season-ending ankle injury in 2019, however, which has caused his draft stock to fall a bit. Before the injury, Hall was widely regarded as a future first-round selection. Whichever team takes the risk should be rewarded as long as he stays healthy. Hall's quickness, overall coverage skills, and physicality can make a difference. Again, if healthy. And if he lands in the right system, he could be one of the best defensive backs to come out of the draft, even though he probably won't be taken until the 2nd or 3rd round. Number 2 bust, Henry Ruggs III. Take your pick between Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, and CeeDee Lamb. They're the 3 best wide receiver prospects in this year's draft, and all of them will likely be gone after the top 20 selections. The 5'11" Ruggs should be a star, but there is some bust potential that shouldn't be ignored. One primary worry is his size, at 5'11", 188 pounds. Other than Emmanuel Sanders, Julian Edelman, and Antonio Brown, how many undersized wideouts have grown into stars over the last 5 or 10 years? When Ruggs is matching up against bigger corners, think Richard Sherman and Jalen Ramsey for example, you can't expect him to win those one-on-one battles consistently. It's also fair to believe that Ruggs was a product of the Alabama system. Jeudy was able to take plenty of the attention off him. So that begs the question, can Ruggs be a true number 1 receiver in the NFL? And I mean, having Tua feed you the football against college defenses has to help. If Ruggs goes to a team with quarterback woes, think of the Jaguars, Las Vegas Raiders, and New York Jets for example, he will have a tough time reaching his ceiling. Ruggs' best weapon by far is his route running, mobility, and quickness. But the team that drafts Ruggs shouldn't expect him to emerge as a top 5 or 10 receiver. He's going to have to prove himself, and that could prove to be difficult for him at the NFL level. Number 2 steal, Zack Moss. Running backs are easy to find these days, so guys at the position have to be the ultimate talent and complete package if they want to be a first-round pick. It's really that simple. Utah prospect Zack Moss recorded 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons to close out his college year. He won the 2019 Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year award after rushing for 1,416 yards and 15 touchdowns. In 4 college seasons, Moss averaged 5.7 yards per carry, but Moss isn't even a top 5 running back prospect in this year's draft. He doesn't have the game-breaking speed you want in a number 1 running back, and he suffered a season-ending knee injury in 2018. Those factors will make Moss a 3rd-round pick at the earliest, and perhaps even later. But the risk is well worth the potential reward here. Moss, listed at just over 220 pounds, can be very effective in any offense that's willing to use him accordingly. We're not saying he'll be the next Derrick Henry or anything, but he can be a serious game-changing weapon. It all comes down to how his body will hold up. But if all goes accordingly, Moss could emerge as a Pro Bowl caliber running back. Number 1 bust, Derrick Brown. The Auburn defensive tackle is regarded as a top 20 prospect for this year's draft. The upside is tremendous, but the risks are still there as well. Brown had a disappointing performance at the NFL Combine. There we saw that his overall speed and agility isn't on par with some of the game's other top defensive tackles and linemen. There are some question marks about his overall mobility and ability to make the open field tackles. But because he's a freakish athlete with top-tier strength and athleticism, it seems like most scouts and analysts are happy to overlook the minor flaws in his game. However, at the NFL level, those minor flaws can make the difference between being a reliable starting defensive tackle and being a second stringer. For Brown, it could come down to which team drafts him and whether his skill set fits into their system. For example, we like Brown on the Jacksonville Jaguars, where he can be paired with Josh Allen. Even the Detroit Lions make sense for Brown, but the New York Giants or Jets, who always struggle to develop quality pass rushers. Please, no, those 2 teams would especially struggle to get the most out of Brown. You gotta love the Jets. Hey, I'm still going. We're still doing it. That's our slogan. That's any Jets fan, that's our slogan. We're still doing it. This is awful, but we're doing it. Our money's on Brown being a great player, but out of every top 10 NFL draft prospect for 2020, he probably carries the highest bust potential, at least in our opinion. But we've been wrong. many times before. So who knows? Maybe he's gonna see this video and be like, oh yeah, well, whatever TPS, I'm gonna be better than what you're saying, and then like we motivate him to do well, and we just made him a franchise star. So you're welcome, man. Number 1 steal, Jalen Hurts. The 2019 Heisman Trophy runner-up was wise to transfer from Alabama to Oklahoma, adding major value to his draft stock by showing he wasn't a product of playing for Nick Saban. Many believe that Hurts will be simply one of those very good backups, but Hurts has the tools necessary to be a full-time starter at the NFL level. However, he has to go to a team that will build around his talents, like how the Kansas City Chiefs and Baltimore Ravens built around Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Hurts figures to go anywhere from the 3rd to 5th round, depending on how desperate teams are for quarterbacks. Whoever drafts Hurts won't be making him the starter in week 1 though. Like Eason, Hurts should hope to go to a team who can groom him as their successor. The Patriots, Saints, Steelers, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers all make great sense here. Imagine what Bill Belichick or Sean Payton could do with this guy. Hurts' best weapon is his scrambling ability, but that won't be enough at the NFL level. If a savvy coaching staff can help Hurts refine his pocket passing, awareness, and overall accuracy, you could be looking at a solid starting quarterback with Pro Bowl potential. And did we mention that he won't be taken until day 2 or 3 of the draft? Yeah, Hurts really has future draft steal written all over him, so here's to hoping he lands with the proper team. What other 2020 NFL draft prospects could be busts and which could be steals? Join me in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and TPS on social media. We post great content all the time. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. We're on everything. Go find us, subscribe, like, do the whole thing, retweet, everything. If you like this video, give it a like. It takes 1 click right down below that button with the thumbs up. Go hit it, and then subscribe to TPS, because why would you not? We're almost at 1 million, so that's pretty dope. So 1 million of you guys, you could be the 1,000,000th subscriber. Who knows? Go do that. Of course, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo. I'll see you next time.
My knee.